Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Yahweh, which is the name of the Most High, and Yahweh Shai, which is the name of the only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. The name of this video is going to be the hereafter, okay, which is what? Now, we're looking into the future here. We're looking into, the time when the kingdom's here. Okay, we're looking past, the prophecies. We're looking past, America, man. Okay, we're looking into the future. Okay, past this place, man. Okay, so we're looking, into the future here, man. That's, there's no other easy way to put this. Okay, as we're looking into when all of it's said and done, man. Okay, when all the chaos, right, when Jacob's trouble is finished, right, when the great tribulation is done. Okay, this is what's gonna, come after, man. Okay, and there's a lot of great things, man. Okay, there's a new rulership that that's coming. Okay, which is what, who the world calls, Christ, Yahweh Shai, is gonna rule on the earth, man. Okay, over all these nations. Matter of fact, before I even get any precepts, let me just first go to where's that? Isaiah the 9th chapter. Okay, let's go to Isaiah chapter 9. Give me a moment. Okay, Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 5. It says, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and with fuel of fire," which is talking about what? That Third World War. Underneath it says, "For unto us a child is born, and unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called the Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. And of the increase of his government there shall be peace, Slakia. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end, upon the throne of David, and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice, for thenceforth, even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this." Right, and that's talking about Yahweh Shai, man, right, who the world calls, Jesus Christ. Right, it says what? That the reign of his government, which, what does the word government mean? That means to have a dominion over. Right, so the dominion of Christ will have no end. Okay, and that's what's coming, man. Okay, is the new kingdom here on the earth. Okay, right, this is the hereafter, man. Okay, there's a great kingdom that's coming to this earth. Okay, let's go to Isaiah the 60th chapter. Okay, because hey, look, man, in the kingdom there's going to be servants. Okay, there's going to be servants as well. That's one of the rewards that comes along with the kingdom, okay, of the Most High. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 8. It says, "Who are these that fly as a cloud, and as the doves to their windows? Surely the Isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of the Lord thy God, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. The sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually, and they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations, they shall be utterly destroyed." All right, now let's get a little, side verse to add on to that. What is that? Isaiah 28 and 10. Precept has to be upon precept here a little and there a little. But that's how you get the proper, understanding of the scriptures. You got to go precept upon precept. Let's go to Revelation chapter 2 and verse 26. Start at verse 25. It says, "But that which ye have already hold fast till I come. And he that overcometh and keeps my works until the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. And I will give him the morning star." Right. So when Christ returns, the other nations of the earth are going into captivity. Okay, and that's the judgment, man. Okay, the other nations of the earth are going into captivity when Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Christ, returns. Okay, that's the judgment upon these other nations, right? The Moabites, so-called Chinese people, right? I gotta watch the word I use, so-called Caucasians, right? The Edomites, I'll use the word once. The slavery is coming, man. And that's not my words. I didn't make that up. That's what the book says. That's what the scriptures say. Okay, and just to put that out there, because somebody brought this up on the comment board the other day. Just because you have a certain skin color, that doesn't mean that you are a heathen, just to put that out there. Okay, so you are going to have people who are saved who look like other nations, okay? But they're actually Israelites. Okay, so you're going to have white people who receive salvation, going to have, so-called mixed, receive salvation. Okay, but we're going to see what happens, man. Okay? But anyway, hey, as I said, don't get mad at me. I'm just saying what the book says. I didn't write it. It says what it says. Let's see. Bear with me just a moment. If I get time, we might even go to Revelation 21st, 22nd chapter. All right, because that pretty much, sums it up at the end, man. Okay, because that's literally the last 2 pages of the scriptures, right? But we're reading about, what's here to come after all this, man. Okay, usually we focus on, the prophecies and, the hard times which are to come. Okay, and all that has to first happen. Okay, and that cuts these guys out here talking about the, they call it, some of them call it, pre-plague rapture. Other guys call it pre-tribulation rapture. But what they're really saying is that, that God's elect will be taken away before, any massive calamities come upon the world. That's not true, man. The elect have to go through the time of the Great Tribulation, right? So we're looking after that time period, man. Okay, which we're coming into that time now. I mean, hell, I was watching a video that there was what's the word I'm looking for? There was a river that turned blood red over in near Israel on the Day of Atonement, which was what, like 2 days ago, right? So that shows you, man. Okay, that something's going on. Okay, something's going on right now. Right? That's not normal. How the hell does that happen on a high holy day, man? That the sea or the river in that region turned totally red. You can look it up. It happened on the whole high holy day, man. Okay? So it just shows you, man, that there's something going on right now. But I don't see how one couldn't at least consider that. Just looking at what's going on. This isn't right, man. Right? Natural disasters have never been at this, this, what's the word I'm looking for? We're at its pinnacle, for lack of better words. Okay? Or what that basically means, pinnacle is at its highest point, right? Its highest point. And that's what we're at right now. The pinnacle, right? The highest point. Let's see. Let's go to the book of Romans, chapter 8. And let's go to verse 18. It says, "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory that shall be revealed within us." Right. So, the things that's, going to come in the near future, man, it's going to far outweigh, the adversities and the trials that we have to go through, in our lives, man. Okay, I want to get another verse as well. I was reading this the other day because I'm in the book of Romans right now. I'm reading the New Testament again, just to refresh the memory. And I found this verse I wanted to read here. I thought this was pretty spiritual. This is the book of Romans, chapter 5. We'll start at verse 1. It says, "Therefore, being justified by faith, we have peace with Yahweh through our Lord Yahushua, by whom also we have access by faith into this grace wherein we stand, and rejoice in hope of the glory of Yahweh. Listen here. And not only so, oh, wait a second. Yeah, here it is. And not only so, but we glory in tribulations also, and knowing that tribulation works patience, and patience experience, and experience hope. Right, so, certain things happen to you in life that are, there to be a experience, okay, so that you can learn from and better yourself. That's why you have a saying in the world, man, that, they say what? That practice makes perfect. Let me read verse 4 again. Let me go back to verse 3. It says, and not only so, but we glory in tribulation also, knowing that tribulation works patience, and patience experience, and experience hope. Right. So, sometimes, man, by going through certain adversities and hardship, in life, gives you experience on how to, better handle yourself. Okay, and another thing as well, man, because in the world to come, the 144,000 are going to be kings and priests, okay, and judges. That's why if you go to, what is that? That's Matthew, the 19th chapter. You can read it on your own, but it says that, Christ told the apostles, hey, look, you're going to sit on 12 thrones and you're going to judge the 12 tribes of Israel when I'm in rulership, right? So that's what they were going to receive. Okay, they were going to receive, rulership over the people. They're going to be able to judge the people. Okay, but they are going to get the experience, on this side of how to, properly, judge the people. Okay, so that's how you got to learn, is by getting experience in this thing. Okay, and even in just regular everyday life as well, man. That's how you get more experience, is by, going through certain situations. And that's how you learn. Let's see. Give me a second here. Let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 2. Bear with me a moment. Okay, this is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 2, and verse 9. It says, but as it is written, I have not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which Yahweh has prepared for them who love him. Let's read that again. 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 9. It says, but as it is written, I have not seen, neither ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of a man the things which Yahweh have prepared for them who love him. Right. And what does that's a good cliffhanger there. Because what does it mean to love the Lord? Let me just show you something real quick. All right, now that's a question to you, right? You guys in the audience listening, let me ask you that question. Let's see who's been doing their homework. What does it mean to love the Lord? How do you love the Lord? Tell me in the comment section. And while you're doing that, let me just pull it up real quick. Let's see, I believe that's, what is it, John the 5th chapter? No, John the 15th chapter. Bear with me just a moment. Just a little side note, we'll throw it out there. John chapter 15, verse 13. Greater love has no man than this, that if a man lay down his life for his friends, ye are my friends, if ye do whatsoever I command you. Right, so we are the friends of the Lord. That's how you love the Lord, is by keeping the commandments. Right, and that's how you are friends with the Most High. Is it not written, if you love me, keep my commandments? Nearly paraphrasing the text. Right, so to answer that, it's talking about keeping the commandments. Okay? Let me see. Let's go to, there's another perk that comes along with the kingdom. How could I forget this one? Let's go to go to the book of Psalms, or actually Isaiah, the 4th chapter. All right, Isaiah, the 4th chapter, and the start at verse 1. It says, "And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, We will eat our own bread, and will wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach." Right, so in that day, 7 women are going to be with one man. That's polygamy, right? They call it in this society polygamy, which here in America, man, Babylon the Great, you really can't deal with more than one woman. That's seen as being weird. You'll get called a cheater. That's not right, though, because according to the scriptures, the Lord made a man to be polygamous. The Lord made a man to want to deal with multiple different women. Okay, want to have more than one wife. Okay, now of course, today, might not be smart to do that because, hell, you can barely financially, support, one wife and 2 children, so, if you're financially, well off, then hey, if you want to have more than one wife, you can do it according to the scriptures. Okay, what is that? What is that? 1 Corinthians, bear with me a second. 6 and 12, right? All things are lawful, but all things are not expedient. Nearly paraphrasing the text. Right, so it's lawful to do that, but it's not expedient to do right now. Okay, but in the kingdom, right, when the kingdom comes, there is going to, we're going to be free to do those things, man. Okay, you're going to be able to deal with more than one wife, man, in the kingdom. Okay, that's what our forefathers did. And that's, hell, if you do your research, man, not too long ago, people were even doing that over here, right, in America, man. You just got to go back a couple hundred years. Okay, but then, really, when things really started to change, if you do the research, it was really around the, the 1900s, right? Late 1800s, early 1900s, when the world really started to change into this philosophy that we have today, right? Which it really had, say for an example, I believe, what is it? Hull House? You can look them up on Wikipedia. They basically brought about the, women's liberation, right? Women's rights. Also, they brought about, the stage of life we now call today, adolescence. You can look into that. I believe it's called Hull House. Okay, that's HALL. Look them up on Wikipedia, and you can read about them. Anyway, let me see. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 21. I'm not going to get the whole chapter, but we'll read certain, key points out of the text. Because this is the hereafter, man, right? This is after all the prophecies are fulfilled, right? After America, Babylon the Great's out of the way, after the MOB, right? After the second death, right? After Christ returns, this is the hereafter right here to being talked about, man. Let's go to Revelation chapter 21. And we'll start at verse 1. It says, "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. There was no more sea." Now the first heaven and the first earth was talking about a dominion of rulership, right? So we're in an age right now. Okay, but this age is going to pass away. What is that? That's 2nd Ezra's chapter 6 and verse 9. "For is the end of the world, but Jacob is the beginning of it that follows." Right, so it's talking about the end of an age and the beginning of another one. It's not talking about the world's actually going to explode like they show you in these movies, man. If you go to, what is that? I want to say Ecclesiastes, I want to say, what is that? The 1st chapter? Might be the 3rd chapter. It speaks about the earth endures forever, right? The earth isn't ever going to be destroyed. This new earth is talking about the earth we live on right now. Okay, but it's just talking about a new dominion that's on the earth, right? A new rulership on the earth. And as far as the sea goes, it's not talking about there's going to be no more ocean. The sea is talking about that there's going to be no more masses of people. Because if you go back to, what is that? Revelation chapter 17, verse 15. It says what? That the woman where you saw, right, that sits on the water is talking about nations of multitudes of people, right? So the whore, which is America, has the nations, right? All nations are in America, right? So that's what it's referring to, is the water. The sea is referring to the masses of the people, right? Which right now there's about 8 billion people. Well, I'd argue and say there is 8 billion people on the earth because they don't know an exact number. There ain't no possible way to know for sure. Okay, so I would say that that's what it's talking about, man. Okay, so anyway, going back to my point, bear with me just a moment. Let's check the video time, make sure everything's up and running. Okay. As I said, I'm not going to get all of it. We'll just, get certain key points. You can read the whole chapter yourself. Let's jump down to verse 4. It says, go back to verse 3. It says, "And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of Yahweh is with man, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Yahweh shall be with them, and be their God." Right, so Yahweh, which is what? The Most High, is going to be on earth with man. Right, so the Most High himself is going to dwell with mankind, man. Verse 4, it says, "And Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall be any more pain, for all these things have passed away." It says, "And he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. He said unto me, It is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely," which is what? That's talking about this knowledge, right? This truth. That's why if you go to, what is that? John, the 3rd chapter, right? Dealing with a man being born again. How do you be born again? That's not talking about, you know, actually being physically born again, right? Because the one man who Christ was talking to said, well, how can a man enter into his mother's stomach again and physically be born again? Right? Because when Christ said that, they thought that he was, literally, speaking about that, man. That's not true, right? Christ spoke in parables. I'll give another example. If you go to, what is that, John the 6th chapter, dealing with, Christ said, hey, look, you got to eat my flesh and you have to drink my blood. Now, when people heard that, they thought, and you can read it. They literally thought, and they read this in the text. They wrote it in the text. They thought that he said to actually eat his physical flesh and drink his physical blood. That's what the text says. That people thought he meant. You can read it yourself, John the 6th chapter. But he wasn't talking about physically, doing that. It was a spiritual thing, which meant what? To digest the knowledge that he was giving. Right, which is what? In a form of a parable. Anyway, let's go back to verse 7. It says, "And he that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son." But the fearful, and the unbelieving, and the abominable, and the murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burned with fire and with brimstone, which is the second death. Let me see. As I said, we're going to jump around. We'll get the good verses, which all of them are good, but for the sake of time, you can read it yourself. Now let's go back to, we'll start at verse 21. It says, "And the 12 gates were 12 pearls, and every several gate was of 1 pearl. And the street of the city was pure gold, as it was transparent glass." Oh, and Sakari was on there saying that this isn't a real city. Right? I went on there with them and had a discussion with them, on this topic. I want to say maybe, 2 months ago, 3 months ago now. I went on there and talked with them. I brought this up because they said this isn't talking about a real kingdom. Those cats are clearly going off, man. It's clearly talking about a physical one, because if you read, if you go to the chapter that we're reading, and you can read it yourself, you can clearly see it's describing a physical structure. Okay, it's a physical structure that's being described in the chapter here. Okay, so this is literal. So that cuts to Sakari. Anyway, it says, "And I saw no temple therein, for the Lord Yahweh Almighty and the Lamb, which is Yahweh Shai, or the temple of it. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon, to shine in it, for the glory of Yahweh did light in it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and their honor unto it." Let's stop there. You know what? Hold on. Let's get verse 25. It says, "And the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night there, and they shall bring the glory and the honor of the nations into it." Wait a second. Didn't we read about that in Isaiah the 60th chapter? Remember, we wrote about, what's the word I'm looking for? We read that, excuse my stutter, we read that in Isaiah chapter 60, that the nations would bring their honor and their riches into the kingdom of heaven. So that shows you that that's talking about servitude, man. That the other nations are going to be bringing their glories, their riches into Christ's kingdom, man. And you can go back and read Isaiah 60 for yourself. It literally says the exact same thing. So that cuts, what these guys out here like Mind of God are talking about, man. Saying that the other nations are not going to be in servitude in Christ's kingdom. That's clearly not true. Okay, according to what we're reading. Anyway, let me go back here. Okay, let's jump over to chapter 22. And we'll go to verse 3. It says, "And there shall be no more curse, but the throne of Yahweh and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him." Right now, what is that curse talking about? The curse is talking about the curses of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, which we're still under those curses today. Okay, so that's it cuts to the Christians, because they say that Christ came to deliver us from the curse of the law. Well, wait a second. Well, what is the curse that's being talked about in the last page of the Bible then? That saying is being done away with when the kingdom of heaven is established on the earth. So what is that talking about? What curse is this? And the answer is that the curse is talking about the curses we're under today, which you can read about the curses in Deuteronomy chapter 28. Okay, and who fits those curses, man? Right, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Right, so-called Negroes. Okay, which are God's chosen people. Okay, right, the so-called Negro, so-called black man is the children of Israel. Right, and that's what they don't want you to know. They don't want you to know that, man. Right, that's hidden knowledge. Right, like the Bible, say for an example, the Bible spoke about the slave trade of the 1600s, man. That was a prophecy in the Old Testament. Deuteronomy 28, verse 68, right? "I'll bring you into Egypt again by ships." Now, Egypt is talking about America, because if you go to, what is that? Revelation chapter 11, verse 8, right? Says their dead bodies shall lie in the street of that great city, which spiritually is Sodom and Egypt. Right now, when guys read that, like there's this one cat on the comment board, man. Don't remember the guy's name, but he was on there saying that, that Babylon can't be America because it says it's a city. So it can't be talking about America. So then, he got cut on that. But then I asked him about this, because it says, well, wait a second. This city says it's likened unto Sodom and Gomorrah. So does that mean it's actually those places? No, because it's being likened. It's being compared to those places. So it's not literal, right? It's just symbolic. It's spiritual. Okay, so yeah, it's speaking about Egypt. But that Egypt is talking about America. It isn't talking about ancient Egypt. It's talking about America. Anyway, I digress. Let's go to... Alright, we'll continue from verse 3. It says, "And they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads. And there shall be no night there, and they have no need of a candle, neither light of the sun. For the Lord God giveth them light, and they shall reign forever and ever. And he said unto me, These sayings are faithful and true. And the Lord God of the holy prophets sent his angel to show unto his servants the things which must shortly be done. Let me see. Oh, let's go to verse 10. It says, And he said unto me, Seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time truly is at hand. It says, He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. He which is filthy, let him be filthy still. He which is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still. Right. So, hey, look, man. At the end of the day, we're out here to tell them the truth to the people. And if you can't get it, then hey, this ain't for you, man. Okay, the majority of the people who hear this, they're not going to believe, right? It's going to go in one ear and come out the next. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay, because, when you deal with, how Christ spoke in parables, the apostles asked Christ, well, why do you talk in parables all the time? And Christ said, because to you it's given to know the mysteries of the kingdom, but to the average man it's not given. And I'll give an example, right? I'll give an example. Dealing with the MOB, right? Guys are going to say, well, why doesn't it just use the word RFID chip in the chapter so we all would know if that's what it is? And the answer is because it's not meant for everyone to understand. Or somebody's going to say, well, why does it not just use the word America in the text? Because if it did, we all would know what it's talking about. So it's like, exactly. But everybody isn't meant to know about this. And that cuts Christianity, because Christianity teaches that the truth's for anyone. That's not true. According to the scriptures, the Lord only wants a few. If you go to Ezra's, right, it says that the Lord chose Ezra's and a few men like him to give this understanding to. Anyway, I think that's going to close up the lesson there. I hope that was edifying. If anybody made it this far into the video, go ahead and put hashtag Isaiah in the comment section below. Hashtag Isaiah in the comment section down below. And I'm going to say shalom.